We're not recording yet.
We are.
Yeah. Are we?
Is my right. Welcome to Bones, Twigs, and Wigs.
Yeah, baby.
The podcast about music.
Sometimes.
So,
This is a fun one. All right, welcome back to Bones, Twigs, and Wigs. Vinyl impressions. It's my turn to present an album. So the one that I chose this week, just for a good laugh, I guess.
oh yeah,
is,
we all need a laugh.
This is just a good little fun album, isn't it? It is. Hang on, here we go. It is The Great Adventures of Slick Rick from 1988, I believe.
It is.
Which is a year before I was born.
Oh my God.
Johnny was a mere zygote.
Old man river.
And yeah, Stephen was already Stephen.
Stephen was like
36.
college.
Yeah.
I already had 2 kids and a fucking mortgage. What are you about?
Yeah, because I thought I had the albums that you guys chose. You know, you've got these like real kind of classic, like influential albums, and we just finished talking about a Jimi Hendrix one. So I was like, well, I like doing the Slick Rick one because I had a bunch of like hip hop ones I wanted to throw in. I got a few like Nas records, some Dre and stuff like sitting around on my desk, and I went, nah, fuck that, let's go with Slick Rick because it's you know, a lot of people forget about old Slick Rick, but the man he's got a lot of pull with all these classic MCs. Like, how many times do you hear that? Ricky, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. That's Slick. People forget that that's Slick Rick.
Yeah, he set this stuff up, man.
Over a guy beatboxing. Just that one guy going.
Right. Dougie Fresh was beatboxing.
No, but there's no bass. It's just.
I know. My bass drum doesn't sound good without the bass, so there's always a bass in my bass drum.
But it's like it's hilarious to I always want to play the original like Ladi Dadi when I'm doing a hip hop set somewhere, but I can't make it fit. I always have to do the Snoop Dogg version. Ladi Dadi, we like to party.
We don't bother nobody.
Yeah,
Smooth.
Now that's not on this record, but
What's up, cuz?
What is on this record is Children's Story, which, man, that thing is sampled everywhere.
It's one of the most sampled songs ever, I think.
Yeah, and
It's got to be because it's everywhere. You always hear that. You never hear the piano bit though. You never hear that.
right.
It always, you know.
Is it
like,
Montel?
But even that was sampled. I looked it up earlier to see, you know, where did he get that piano bit sample from? And man, I will keep talking, I'll find it, you know. But a lot of people have actually covered a Children's Story and like made their own versions to it. You know, Mos Def has a really dope joint. I think it's him and Talib Kweli. They had a group back in the day called Black Star. And I think Black Star did it like on the album or like on their project, or it might have just been Mos Def by itself. But yeah, man, like he does an awesome version where he's not talking about children, like not talking about like this young guy robbing a store and getting into trouble, but he's talking about hip hop and like these like sucker MCs and whack rappers, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's really dope. Really, really dope song. Let's see.
This is it's also a very kind of early hip hop record to be pretty like universally acclaimed by critics. Like I think it's one of the first like hip and only to this day like only hip hop records to ever get like a perfect 5 stars from the source. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
There's a few more of them now because they went 2012. Something like they went back through albums that they either hadn't scored or they'd scored at like 4.5, and then some of them they bumped up to a 5. Some of them, this actually, to be honest, when this came out, they didn't give this a score when it came out. They didn't review it initially.
That's crazy.
So they had to review it again. So this is one of the only ones with a 5, but it wasn't actually reviewed exactly at the time it came out for some reason. I don't know why.
So check this out. I found the sample to Children's Story. It's Nautilus by Bob James, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole track, whole track is amazing. And if you listen to it, you'll hear so many like samples. Because
Look at him trying to get the fly.
I know, right? He's in there tripping.
Sorry, I just got the fly. I basically created the new morning, so all the flies think it's fucking morning. It's not.
Calm down, Walter White.
So check this out. So Ghostface Killer and Raekwon the Chef, they sampled. Eric B and Rakim sampled and Follow the Leader. Run DMC sampled and Beats to Rhyme.
I didn't know about that.
Or Beats to the Rhyme. And lastly, but not least, and there's actually a few other guys, but I'm just naming the notable ones, you know. A Tribe Called Quest. And the song is Clap Your Hands. So like this song has been sampled like 336 times.
Don't forget about this is This is how we do it. It's Friday night.
No. I'm saying Nautilus has been sampled by, you know, all of these artists, including Slick Rick.
But Montel
once Slick Rick made Children's Story, then you got Montel Jordan who sampled. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
I wonder
most
if
notable too.
Would you consider Montel Jordan sampling a Children's Story, or would he be doing a Bob James sample?
He'll definitely be sampling Children's Story. Because when you think about it, like the producer of Children's Story, he like when you hear the original, like where they got the sample from, they had to manipulate the sound a little bit. Like I think it's in like a different key or something like that, you know. And then you know, Montel Jordan, he takes that same track and then of course he manipulates that, you know. So yeah,
he was great at basketball. Great basketball player.
Shut up. He was very tall. He was.
I've just finished watching the Michael Jordan thing. Like I say, some amazing one.
It's great, isn't it?
The Last Dance. Oh, such a good program. So good.
Yeah, man, it was pretty good.
Scottie Pippen is a legend.
Yeah, they treated him like crap.
I know, that's right. I didn't realize how bad that was. I don't follow ball. I mean, in England, you know, I'm a short white English guy. I mean, what am I? Whatever. But like. Watching it, I was like, wow, I could really get into basketball way more. But then again, as I was telling to my friend John, who's really into basketball, he's like, dude, you are watching the best of the best of the best of the best. Like, if you try and get back into basketball, you're going to sit there and go, why is this guy not flying through the air? Where's the fight?
Dude,
you know, because I just saw the best of the best of the best.
I don't understand basketball, and I've given up on it.
Yeah, Grant's. I've tried to get Grant to basketball so much because I love basketball. That's like my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court.
Dribble up and down the court. What's your favorite move? The alley-oop?
I like the pick and roll. I like the give and go, you know.
My favorite move is the alley-oop. Are we doing Little Bow Wow? Is that what we're doing right now?
Is that Little Bow Wow?
You know, are we going to review Little Bow Wow?
What happened to Little Bow Wow? Did Snoop kill him? What happened?
Dude, yeah, he's in one of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
He's in Tokyo Drift. He's the kid with the Hulk car.
What was his first song? Because it was like a
Bow Wow,
my name
wow,
is yippee yo yippee yay. That's what it was.
Yeah.
No.
That was like his
it's a
first
sample
single.
of Snoop, wasn't it? Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay.
Yeah.
The fella's getting down, singing
But
bow
that-
wow
but
wow,
that
yippee
basketball
yo, where my
song-
old dog's at? Holler with me now, bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
But that basketball song by Bow Wow was actually a cover. I'm not even gonna say it was a sample. Like he actually covered that from somebody. If I'm
that's
not
how Snoop.
mistaken.
That's how Snoop opens. Nothing but a G thing.
Nothing about a G.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo,
Yippee
yippee yay,
yay.
doggy dog in a motherfucking house.
So check this out.
That's the
So-
entire chorus of Little Bow Wow.
Yeah.
So
Bow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay.
Bow Wow actually covered that basketball song from Curtis Blow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's Curtis Blow, man.
Yeah, that was Curtis Blow, and that was back in '84. And I don't even think he changed the lyrics around. Like he rapped.
No.
He did every like it's exactly the same lyrics, bro. It's like,
But is the hook different? Because like I know Bow Wow's one is like they're playing basketball.
might be, yeah. You got like some girls singing. He's like,
But that was because he was doing them.
Is my
Yeah,
favorite
but
sport. He's like 13.
but that's yeah,
Down the court. Oh.
yeah, but that was that
got
song was to
machetes.
accompany his movie. He was doing that movie like Mike.
Exactly right. He's doing like Mike.
Right, so he has to do a
I'm
basketball
not even gonna lie,
rap.
man.
Yeah.
I used to love.
I love
that
like
movie.
Mike.
Oh, I love
He's
that
great.
movie, bro. It's so amazing, man.
It's the
you
little
like
nerdy
Mike?
Milky Bar kid. That's,
Yeah, man.
his
And, like,
friend
he gets the shoes and like he's like, oh, MJ. Oh, and he like tries to like hide the shoes and like put them on.
It could
He's,
have
like,
been Michael
dunking on
Jackson.
people.
It could have
Right?
been Montel. It could have been Montel
Jordan.
Jordan.
MJ is a powerful.
who sampled
powerful.
Slick Rick, a children's
Exactly.
story.
He could
Back
have
to
been a
the
rapper.
album.
I'm gonna say we've not
Back
talked
to
about the
the-
album very much, but now we're back to the
Could've been a
album.
rapper.
Well,
You
no,
know how
we're,
we
no,
do
we're just
these
talking.
things, man.
We're just talking about Slick Rick and his vast influence.
You know how we
Because
do
Slick
these
Rick's
things.
Slick Rick's a funny cat because he's such a big deal for such a short amount of time, and then he goes away because he goes to prison, I think, right?
Does he?
Then he gets out of prison and he has a few songs with Outkast in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I
like
forgot about
Outkast kind of brought him back.
Mhm.
I think because they did a music video where like a Big Boy put on the eye patch. And I think it was just doing an like an impression of him. or
I do
something.
remember
Like,
that. I remember the eye patch.
Yeah,
I loved Outkast,
So then
by the way. I
I-
love Outkast, man. Awesome.
Then they got a couple of tunes actually with Slick Rick after that, which is pretty sweet. Man, how good is that Teenage Love song on this album?
It's great, man.
It's smooth, right? Don't have me
I'm
again.
sorry.
Don't
I'm eating a
have me
cracker.
again.
It's not like you to be eating on microphone,
I
Johnny.
know.
This is a first.
It's
one.
always, it's my thing. It's my niche. You know?
Just selling, but I'm starving, man.
Well, my thing is the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah.
But check
My
this
thing
out.
is the devil.
So, Teenage Love was in my top 3. You know,
It has
what
to be. I think.
what I loved about it, man. I'm so happy you said that because like I'm listening to it and I'm like, dang, how big was this song back in the day? Because I'm like vibing to this, you know. I did some
It's really
research
good.
and come to find out, like, I think it was like one of his like singles. You know how like artists they put out, you know, like
It's his first single off this album.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, cool. So everybody knows Children's Stories. That's like the biggest song on the album. But then Teenage Love was like super chill. He's got like the keys, like you can tell it's like a DX7, like a Yamaha DX7 from back in the day. But then the bass at the end, he's got the bass player like doing like a bass solo and he's like slapping and thumping, bro. And I'm like, yo, this is like a chill track. I love it.
It's like how much do you think R. Kelly listened to Teenage Love?
He probably
Take that how you will. I meant that seriously, and then realized how much. Then I realized how much of a pun that ended up being. Like, I was like, hang on.
But no, like I'm thinking about it, like yeah, he probably had that on heavy rotation. That probably inspired his whole career, right?
Man, that inspired his entire sex life. He would play that in his bedroom. He'd like, don't worry, baby. When you get old enough, you'll understand the teenage love.
Listen to these lush keys right here. Listen.
Hey, how
You heard purple rain. You want to see the yellow rain. Sorry.
Nah.
dude, how do either of you keep mistakenly thinking that Dave Chappelle song "Piss on You" or "Pee on You" is actually by R. Kelly? I pee on you.
I love how if you're
That's
listening
how
to this
good-
and you don't know what we're
man.
talking about, that's good. That's like when people say things
Dude.
around kids, and I know there's children there. It's like if they understand what I'm talking about, the parents have messed up, not me. It's the
Exactly.
same thing.
Man, if the people out there want a really, really great way to spend an hour or two, look up the full version of "Trapped in the Closet" by R. Kelly. It's just so epic,
Bro,
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I know
it's so
R.
good.
Kelly. I know R. Kelly has done some wrong. You know what I'm saying? He's done his damage. He's done his harm.
Where you going with this,
But-
Johnny?
No, man.
I've got my finger over the edit button.
Bro, Trapped in the Closet is a masterpiece, son.
Oh, it's amazing,
It's a
And,
masterpiece, dog.
dude. R. Kelly puts out jams, dude. I don't like. He does a lot. He does a lot
Hey,
of wrong, but
you know
but
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like
I don't agree.
I feel like
I don't agree with all of the other things that he does outside of music, but when it comes to music, he makes hits.
Much like the women in the documentary, his music will survive R. Kelly.
Pretty much. But yeah, man. But yo,
I believe I can fly. Sorry.
Can I just say my top 3?
Absolutely.
For all right. So my top 3 for the Slick Rick LP. I already said Teenage Love Affair. The Moment I Feared. I think that was like track 2 or track 3 or something like that.
It's the, I think it's the last. Is it the? It's either the first track on side 2 or the last track of side 1.
Oh, I was like, I was streaming it.
Fourth.
Yeah, so
it's the 4th track on the album.
Man, I'm listening to the beat and everything like that, and then he's like a storyteller too. And he has like 3 verses.
I got it here. I can just.
Yeah, like he has like 3 verses where he talks about
first track of side 2. Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I'm reading something. But no, he has like 3 verses where he just talks about like just different situations and the repercussions, you know what I'm saying, of like those situations. It's literally like a cautionary tale where he just like gets into like he's living his street life. Like one verse he talks about how he's hooking up with this girl that he meets and he's thinking everything's gravy. He goes to the house and then all of a sudden like her man comes home or something like that, and yeah, just like crazy stuff, man. Like
the mailman.
Like no, not well.
That's in one of them or something.
That's in one of them. I don't think it was in that same song. It might have been.
That's the first track. That's the first track.
That's the first. Right. That's the first one. Yeah. The prostitute one. Yeah.
The mailman like comes and pays a wife a visit.
Like a prostitute.
Like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
But no. This one, the first verse, he talks about like he's like on his lunch break, and then like some guys try to step up to him. And, like he's got all his chains on, and then he's trying to tell the guys like, hey man, you don't even want to rob me, man. Like these chains are fake anyway.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, man, he was so cool, bro. And just like breaking it down. And then my third fave was probably Hey Young World. And that's a hip hop classic. I personally think, and it probably has, I wouldn't be surprised, but I personally think it can also slide into like R&B, maybe pop, like the pop charts like back in the day, Yeah. Because it's so bright and like, lush and just kind of, like the instruments in there, the keys, and it's kind of got like that little like reggae, like it can almost be like a calypso song, but like with just a little bit more hip hop flavor to it too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but that's a classic song in hip hop, man. Like my parents used to like drive down and just like go for a Sunday drive and just like bump that in the car stereo. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll play that at like a cookout or something like that. Everybody's just having a good time, just grooving, eating food, playing spades or something like that. Nice. That's like a classic, bro. So he has some classics on here, man, which is crazy. It was a great album. Yeah,
it's it's another one of those albums that's like nowadays it's a little bit slept on.
Mm-hmm. Straight up,
it's great. And one thing that I really like about it is it doesn't pretend to have like a some sort of like grandiose concept to it. Like we did like Michael Jackson's Dangerous, and we talked about the structure of all the tunes. Like well all the key changey Disney style sort of like ballads are on this side of this, and then all the really upbeat ones everything's kind of clumped together, and it's got like acts in a play. This one, outside of like Teenage Love, pretty much every single thing is just like
yeah.
Time not long ago. It's just there's a delightful lack of contrast in it that I really like. It's just you just put it on, you just kind of sit there like you can just enjoy it. That's what I like about this album.
I think that's where I switch off this album a little bit because of the lack of contrast. I just find that it sort of washed over me a little bit. Like I recognized 3 or 4 of the tracks, obviously like sample wise, and it's Slick Rick,
Yeah,
I
you know
think-
the eye patch, right?
Yeah, it's and if you don't know, I didn't know until today. He was born in England, so he's one of mine. We're
Bro,
having him.
To
We're
be honest,
keeping him.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I used to always wonder, like why was his speaking voice like that? Like why was he's like he just had like this weird like tone, and I was like, what's like this? Dude is different.
I always thought he was just doing a Be Real thing.
Bro, like I thought
Be Real from Cypress Hill. He's like,
He talks up.
yeah, like I was like maybe
like
that's
he
just
doesn't
like
talk
his
like
niche.
that.
Yeah.
That's just he just puts that voice on when he raps.
Right.
I just assumed that was, and then Steve
Well, he must be
mentioned
something
before,
sick, 'cause
it's like,
he
he's
left
from
when he
England.
was
I went,
like-
oh, that makes sense.
But he left England when he was like 10, maybe a bit later. I had a quick look before, maybe a little bit later. But
Yeah,
he was
like,
young.
like 10 or 11. So his parents were Jamaican,
It's a
living
Windward,
in England.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
the Windward
and he
immigration
was-
that we had a big immigration from Jamaica to England called the Windward generation, and they
Yeah.
didn't get treated very well. To be fair, there's still
Yeah.
a lot of issues with that now. Yeah, so I think they came over for the better life, and and then obviously went fuck this, and then where'd they end up? The Bronx, was it? Is it Bronx or Harlem? It's New York.
That's what he
was it?
sounds like. He talks like Lennox Lewis.
What? He sounds like he's been punched in the face.
No, the like the Jamaican guy lived in England.
Oh, right.
But then,
That's right, 'cause Lennox
and then that
is, like-
American Canadian,
Yeah,
but he lived in
yeah.
Canada. Like that's what the accent is.
Yeah.
It's that
Lennox has a very
time, not
specific
long
voice,
ago,
actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm going to knock Mike Tyson out. You know,
Right,
like
right.
Yeah.
Imagine Lennox Lewis rapping, like spitting on Children's Story. It wouldn't be that different to Slick Rick.
I can imagine
Yeah.
Lennox spitting
Right.
on children, but I'm not
That's
sure
what the
about, like,
accent is. That's what it is.
Well, I've got to say, like my takeaway from it, I love classic hip hop. I like the nastier side of stuff. I actually, Children's Story. If I had to put it top 3, Children's Story, just because I'd forgotten sort of where that came from. And obviously it came from something else before this, but that sparked
It's
off
such a
Mantel and stuff.
classic.
Teenage Love. Or the Young World. I think Teenage Love just because it is different on the album. But one of the more aggressive tracks, because I prefer aggressive hip hop in general, is Lick the Balls.
I knew you were gonna. I knew you were gonna have the same top 3 as me, mate. I knew it. I was like, Steven's gonna love Lick the Balls.
I didn't want to like it. I'm like, if this isn't hysterical, I'm not gonna like it. And I'm like, oh, it's not
It's the last
hysterical. It's
track too.
actually quite aggressive. I love it.
It's hilarious. It's
just it's random as hell to finish an album on it.
Just
Yeah.
ends it. Yeah.
You guys are
Exclamation
disgusting.
point. You know, it's great.
You guys
I
are
was
terrible.
another thing. Just while I've got the physical copy, I really like the track listing. Like just that kind of.
Oh, that's the back?
Mate.
Yeah, that's the bag of it. So, but
Mate,
see,
every time I
this is
see
what
it's
I
a
like.
bumped,
And then, like, the cover,
Now
he's just,
this
you know,
is a
it's
story.
just
Every time I see
him.
that type of like font, it's that time. It's Fresh Prince time. It's like this is a story, like the sort of fake graffiti.
late 80s.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
late 80s hip hop style, that like real graffiti-ish thing. Like it hasn't gone away yet with this album. It's still, and it's such an innocent looking cover.
And by the way,
Like,
can I
look
just
how
say,
happy he looks.
Indian Girl,
talks
by the
about-
way. Just sorry, I stepped on your
Oh,
toes.
yeah.
I just saw Indian Girl. That you can't get away with that now. You can't get away
Bro,
with that now.
that like the end of that, I was
Mate,
like,
the end of it was like going, oh, what the? Oh,
But no,
what? I'm like,
the
whoa.
very end?
No, that's what I mean. He's doing the noises like
Yeah.
the native Indian and the.
bro, I had to go back and look up the lyrics, dog. I was like,
Mate,
I was like,
I'm
what?
just-
Like,
What did he just say?
like, literally-
Yeah.
bro, I was like, what? I can't believe
Well-
what I'm hearing.
Because he sounds so happy,
Also-
but he's saying some horrible stuff. Like, what? Wow,
Horrible,
this is
bro.
really gross. But it's like,
Horrible.
He also comes from a time where I don't know if you can see this, where they didn't have complete grills. They just had one diamond on one tooth.
Oh, yeah, it did, just like a cap almost.
One
Yeah.
one gold
That's
cap.
your grill.
Who was the
That's
guy? Someone
late
had
80s
two.
grill.
who was the rapper who had twos? It wasn't DMX, was it? It was somebody who had like they just clipped on two. Oh, maybe they just had two
I
gold
was gonna
teeth.
say, I don't think DMX ever had a grill.
Who was it? Someone had like two gold teeth or two clips. The hell was that?
I don't know. Obi Trice always said you guts to have teeth.
Maybe it's Obi. Maybe it's Obi. You got to have teeth. Obi tries. That's a good album.
Yeah.
That's a good album.
I thought, so I
That's
thought
funny.
I'd just throw this one at you this week, just because it's a good time. It's a great adventure. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. It's a good mix we're all coming up with here. Like for the guys at home, if you haven't heard these things, I mean, beware. Let's just beware, Slick Rick. It sounds quite happy and it looks like a cartoon on the front of it, but there is some content in there that you do not want certain people to hear. Just be aware that it is full on. And it will take you by surprise. It will take you by surprise, and it is pretty sexual and et cetera, et cetera. Because I didn't expect that. When you first hear him chatting, I'm like, oh yeah, Slick Rick. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, God.
What did he just say?
He oversteps the line so many times. You're like Johnny said, you have to just stop it and go, did he just say that? Really?
Bro, I literally went to genius.com. And like Genius would they would break down the lyrics for you and tell you oh yeah, this is what the artist meant. And I was like, now let me just make sure he's not I don't know, just trying to speak on something else. Maybe I'm missing the theory or the analogy or whatever. And it was pretty much what he said. Open it up.
He's not a very deep cat.
Yeah, right. He's just straightforward with this guy. Yeah. My man said it was. He said it was crabs with spears, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then
you can see,
but then the sound effects, while it's fading out. Whoa!
God. That song, I literally. It's like. I can't even. Anything I want to say could be taken completely out of context. Right? If you want to listen to this album, go listen to it. Just be aware.
Please,
especially that song, because it's a great album. But I mean, if you don't like hip hop and offensive stuff, you're not going to listen to it anyway. So.
And please don't report us for this video. We're just the messengers, man. We're just listening. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we wouldn't get in trouble for saying that we dig Slick Rick. I think we'd get in trouble for praising R. Kelly so much in this episode.
I didn't praise it. You two are on your own.
That's true. We're just speaking facts, man.
We can survive this.
It's a remix.
Oh man, but yeah, good album though, man. Go ahead, take us out, Grant.
Yeah, just one more time. The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Don't let the cover fool you. It's not quite as innocent as he seems. But it's a. I always keep this one next to this one's always next to the turntables because I like putting this record on. It's a good time. I also like it because it's just about as old as me. Children's Story came out, I think, a month before I was born. The single of it.
Yeah, I was on my third job, second marriage, and I did the artwork.
Anyway, guys, Bones, Twigs, and Wigs, Vinyl Impressions, Slick Rick. Enjoy. Like, subscribe. You can see all our various little social media things below our beautiful faces. And we'll see you another time. Take care.
Peace.